Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan with your Labour Weekend forecast, and the outlook is looking a little bit windy for those in the north because, you know, in New Zealand it can't be a long weekend without some sort of low pressure zone coming in and making a nuisance of itself. So for northern New Zealand, you're going to notice the winds picking up. The main feature, in fact, over the next few days is what we call the squash zone. That's this area of windy weather between low pressure up here in the Tasman and high pressure over here in the South Island, which is going to expand out to the east and act like, well, just a giant wall holding up that low and increasing the windy weather. Let me show you. This is Thursday. This is the current wind map. So you can see it's a little bit windy around northern New Zealand. So let's now fast forward 24 hours. And you'll notice it's a much larger, brighter area showing up. That's because as we get into Friday, and by the way, Saturday looks very similar, this squash zone gets bigger as the high balloons out here to the northeast and the low in the Tasman gets deeper. So windy weather is going to be pushing through. There'll be gusts to gale force. We're not really expecting too many problems because this is not a storm. This is just the squash zone between this area here of low pressure, these low pressure zones, and the big high out to the east. So that means gust to gale force in places like Northland, Auckland, and also Coromandel Peninsula. Further down the country, the winds are not looking quite so bad. So windy weather is on the way. In fact, it's already here for some of you in the north. This is how it looks on Friday. There is the low pressure system connected up with the other low. There are a couple of low pressure centres out there in the Tasman Sea at the moment. The big high, 1037, that's quite strong. It is moving up that eastern side of New Zealand and holding firm. And so therefore the low out in the Tasman Sea can't advance any closer, and so that's why the winds start to pick up, those windy nor'easters, and you see there the isobars getting closer together as we go through Friday, which makes for those gale force winds. As we get into Sunday, Saturday, my gosh, it's like I want the weekend to be here already. As we get into Saturday, the low, that's all low pressure out here in the Tasman. In fact, it's low pressure all the way out over to parts of Queensland and New South Wales as well. So this is quite a big low pressure belt to the west. And then to the east, there's that big high, solidly parked there, not wanting to move away. And so the windy weather continues on Saturday in the north, now with a few rain clouds in the mix as well. By Sunday, the rain clouds fall apart. So it's still a bit wet in these northern areas, bit of rain on the west coast and around Nelson as well, mostly dry elsewhere. Despite the fact there's low pressure moving in, it's pretty weak low pressure. This is all low pressure. So the energy gets spread out a wee bit and it's not very stormy at all. The squash zone is also weakening because as that low comes in, quite weak, and the high has weakened as well. So basically the whole air pressure has started to drop, and that means the winds also start to ease. So we get to Labour Day Monday and it looks like this. Low pressure out in the Tasman starting to reorganise. Over New Zealand itself, we've got a northwesterly flow coming through, so it will be mild on Labour Day Monday. Areas of showers which they might linger long enough to be basically considered rain. You know, it's when it lasts more than 30 minutes and it stays in one area. So we might be seeing some lingering showers. Sunny spells also coming through in the mix, but I think the Monday forecast is going to chop and change a wee bit, so please do keep up to date with that. And then we get to Tuesday, and there comes that next big area of low pressure, northwesterly winds or subtropical winds. In other words, October is going to end on a warmer than average note. Some of you in the South Island will be over 8 degrees above normal as we go through the next few days, starting as early as Friday. So speaking of that, if you go to the Weather Watch website or ruralweather.co.nz, either one of those sites, we've got these 3 news stories at the moment. Windy weather coming in for northern New Zealand, rain at times, also for northern New Zealand, and as you just saw, a bit on the west coast. And those incoming temperatures, the areas you see there in the dark red, showing over 8 degrees above normal. So all the information, temperatures, rain, wind, in the news service over at weatherwatch.co.nz and ruralweather.co.nz. I'm back again on Friday before the long weekend. We'll cover New Zealand's weather. We'll also have another video coming out on Friday, our global one, which will be about Australia only as we go into the weekend as well. And just a reminder for everyone who's watching, Monday in New Zealand is a public holiday, so we won't have a video back then. In fact, I don't think our next video is until Wednesday of next week as we take a bit of a holiday. So that is all from me, but we see you again on Friday with our next update.